and I've made a right sticky mess. For the last part of this training block, I'm using my long runs to practice my race day routine. I'll be carb loading for a couple of days leading into the race, but on this week's video, I want to talk about my race day fueling, and that starts with breakfast. The target for race day is 130 to 150 grams of carbs, but I just can't face that volume of porridge. So I'm going for a combination of Rice Krispies, white bread toast, jam, and orange juice. It's all low fibre, so it'll be easier for my body to digest. Today's long run is a long run / session combo, and it's one that I've been looking forward to and dreading in equal measure as I progress through this block. But first things first, let's get this fuel on board. Alright, that's the toast down. Now it's time to eat probably more Rice Krispies than I've eaten in one sitting since I was about 7 years old.
Eventually.
So that monster breakfast has gone down. I've come out into the beautiful sunshine to get this run done. It's about 2 hours 45 minutes since I finished breakfast. That's right in the middle of that target range that I was aiming for, so hopefully that means I've had enough time to digest it and it's not going to repeat on me later in the session. With breakfast navigated successfully, I turn my attention to in-race fueling, and the plan for race day is to get 40 to 60 grams of carbs in per hour. So if I run my sub 90 target, then I'm looking at 60 to 90 grams total. This session featured somewhere in the region of 60 minutes of work, so with that in mind, my goal was to take on 40 grams of carbs split across 2 gels. So let's go and get this run done, figure out this gel malarkey. I've got Emmy helping me today on camera duty. I don't think she's super keen. So let's get it done. Plan for this session is 5k at half marathon pace, 5 by 1 minute at 5k pace, 5 by 1k at half marathon pace, followed by a final 5 1 minutes at 5k pace. So that's my warm up and strides done, a few drills. We found ourselves in amongst another event down here on the river. So it's a bit dicey for Emmy to navigate through the crowds. Hopefully in the next kilometre or so we'll get out of those crowds and I can get stuck into the session without having to navigate lots of other runners, cyclists, buggies, erratic children and dogs. Towards the end of my 5k rep, I was getting towards 30 minutes on my feet and it was time to take on my first gel. I've used gels on long runs before, but only at easy to moderate pace, so this was a chance to practice taking them on at race pace. First 5k done. I have to get used to taking these on the move because they're all over my fingers and I've made a right sticky mess.
Oh, suit you, sir.
The other lesson I've learned immediately is that I probably need to time my gels with the water stations because having a sip of something to wash them down is definitely helpful, especially on a hot day like today. Go. That's my 5 by 1 minute at 5k pace done. And check out that barnet. Like an 80s tennis coach. Woo! Oh. Right. Let's turn around and do it all again. With the sun beating down, it was tops off for the second half of the session, although the sweaty bandana was like getting repeated wet slaps on the back of the neck. The 60-second recovery periods were originally slated to be floats, but I swapped these for walk-jog recoveries in light of the recent interruptions to my training. So that's it. Got that session in the bank. I feel absolutely exhausted. It's a massive confidence boost to get through that one, because that's a session that I picked up months ago as a recommendation to do 2 weeks out from race day. I kind of built my whole training plan around it. With the block not going as planned, I wondered if I was up to it. So I imagine I'll hurt later, probably in the morning. But I absolutely love the fact that I got through it and hit the paces I wanted to hit. After a gentle cool down, I did some stretches, then had a crack at pushing over this wall, but it wasn't going anywhere, so I jumped in the car and headed home. So I'm back here in the Red Spoon after that beastie session, and it was a real confidence booster to get that one under my belt. There's obviously been a few blips along the way on this training block, with sickness and a little niggle preventing me from getting some of the runs done that I would have liked to have over the course of my training. But looking at the splits from that session, I was really happy that I was able to maintain the pace I wanted to, especially that I was able to push on and get something approaching my 5k pace for those last 5 1-minute reps, even on tired legs. Although it's quite daunting when I consider the fact that I need to do what I did over that first 5k block 3 more times and then some to get over the finish line in the time I'm hoping to hit. Having said that, I allowed for the fact that the route I ran this training session on was pancake flat and the course isn't going to be. So I pushed myself to run those race pace efforts a little bit above my target race pace. So let's just recap what that is. To run a sub 90-minute half marathon, it means averaging 4 minutes 17 seconds per kilometre. It's actually 4 minutes 15 per kilometre. Although I'll throw the mile splits up on the screen for those of you that work in old money. Anyway, I'm going to go take a shower and then I'll sit down and tell you how I plan to conquer that sub 90-minute half marathon. That's better. So, race strategy. I've been thinking about this for a little while now, and conventional wisdom says I'll set out at a conservative pace, hopefully saving enough energy to push on in the second half and achieve that all-important negative split, right? Well, I think the Great West Run is a little bit different, and the reason for that is course elevation. Although there's a couple of climbs early on, the first third of the course is net downhill, and the middle third, broadly speaking, is flat, followed by some sharp inclines in the final third. So I think I need to set out reasonably conservatively, and then I think perhaps I can afford to push on a bit in that middle third, possibly even banking a little bit of time if I feel good, and hopefully have enough left for those final climbs. But if I am sacked by them, I've got enough in the bank to get home in that goal 90 minutes. That being said, I don't want that net downhill first third to let me get carried away and overcook it and leave myself with nothing left. So my thinking is, if I can hit my goal race pace for the first 5k and then push on a bit for the second and third 5ks, I should hopefully get into the final 6 kilometers with a little bit of time up my sleeve. So if those climbs do take something out of me, I can still afford to run some 420, 425 minute kilometers and achieve what I want to achieve on the day. So I've got my strategy locked in, and with just 2 weeks to go before race day now, there's nothing more I can do to get any more fitness. So it's just a case of getting my legs fresh, maintaining a bit of sharpness between now and race day, and accepting that when the time comes, what will be will be.